Hey, this is the World Advice Channel. What I want to talk about is a very controversial issue, which is the topic of, is it okay to be proud to be white? So when it comes to this issue, obviously there's a lot of, this is a very controversial issue, especially in a day and age where a lot of people say they're proud to be from this group. Like, for example, you have people say they're proud to be black. There's people who say they're proud to be Latino. They're proud to be Indian. They're proud to be Japanese, and so on and so forth. So is it okay to say that you're proud of being white? Is what I will be discussing for this video. So let's get started. So when it comes to that exact question, what I simply have to say is, simply put it, no, it is not okay to be proud to be white. Now, the reason why I say that is that it simply comes down to the fact that there's no such thing as a general white identity. That simply doesn't exist and never has existed historically. As the truth of the matter is, white people are just like Asia, are just like Asia, okay, or Europe, I should say, is like Asia. There's no such thing as one main group. They are made up of several different groups of people, such as Germans, Greeks, Italians, French, Germans, so on and so forth, who have at certain times in history have had deep, in one way, shape, or form with one another, have had deep, intense feuds and even outright hatred against each other. Have you looked at even what the Romans did to their northern neighbors? You know, when they were in charge, oh my lord, when you look at some of the scenarios and stuff that they did, that's the truth of the matter. So they're not, so the idea, especially when you look at it from a historical context, that they are one main group of people, when a lot of their history, the histories of those particular groups, is filled with them having particular issues um, with that other group of people. To a certain degree, even fighting against certain other groups is kind of a part of their identity. Just like, look at the Balkans. Oh my lord, let's not even get started there. You know, like, some like that. You know, like, you get my point here. Like, some of their groups, their identity is simply pretty much founded on the idea of having an issue with this other particular group of people in one way, shape, or form. So the truth of the matter is, this idea that, oh well, you know, they're one particular group of people, simply doesn't make any sense. As not only, aside from, of course, the issues they've had, Europe is made up of people who have different customs, different belief systems, and also, you know, very different facial appearances. Looking at someone, if you go to Italy, particularly a place like Sicily, you will notice they look very different from someone who's from a place like Britain or Scotland or Ireland. That's what I'm trying to say here. There's a lot of differences in terms of their appearance depending on where they go. So the idea of saying you're one main group when you have one group and another group who look completely different simply doesn't make any sense whatsoever from a logical perspective, for that matter. So the truth of the matter is, the idea that, oh, I'm proud to be this, makes no sense. You know, even when I know people will try to backflip and say, well, what about your group saying it's proud to be black or proud to be from this other group? But that's only a reaction, for that matter, to, of course, the oppression. Saying you're proud to be black, for example, or proud to be of this particular group, like saying, oh, I'm proud to be brown. Like, I'm referring to like South Asian brown, like people from like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and all that type of stuff. That is obviously a reflection of being oppressed. So of course, when people are oppressed, they're going to say that way, say things like that. But for Europe, they're not oppressed. So this idea of saying, oh, I'm proud to be white, makes no sense when there's so many various different groups of people who are completely different from each other. Not to mention what happens when you know What, you know, for that matter, what happens when there's no issue? And that's the thing racist people will never tell you. What happens if some of the scenarios that these people always claim all the freaking time? Oh, well, let's kick all the African Americans out of America. Fuck black people. And all that type of stuff. You hear all the freaking time from them. What happens if that were to happen? You know, have you seen how some white people even treat each other? Holy shit. You know, especially some of these white females. Like, I'm keeping it real. I'm being honest. Some of them, yeah, some of the situations, and it's not just mean girl stuff. Like, there's some real stories out there, like, that show how they treat each other, and my lord, it's awful. So, well, how that relates to my point is that even if some of these scenarios were to happen, that these racist people say, oh, let's kick out all the immigrants from, you know, from Europe or America and blah 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 blah, you know, or you know, and just in general for that matter, people of color, what would happen then? You know, look at Europeans and how much wars they fought against each other for their history, and even look at this scenario. You think they wouldn't have issues with each other? And that's the biggest problem with racism. One of the biggest issues with racism. If they were to if there was not to be this perceived threat of people of a different appearance, like in America, like they kicked all the African Americans out and sent them back to Africa, what would happen to America? You know, you think white people wouldn't start having issues with each other? And that's what I'm trying to say here. That's why I like when I hear stuff like that, I just kind of just change. I just say that, like, this stuff is stupid. So that's what I'm trying to say here, in all honesty. The idea of just blaming people of color is the easy way out, and that's what I'm trying to say. So anyway, aside from that these points, another thing I also want to mention when it comes to this particular issue of why it's not okay to be proud to be white, you know, because even though, yes, it is okay to say you are proud to be of this particular group, like Italian, German, French, and stuff, there's obviously a difference between being proud of the group you're from versus saying you are proud to overall be white, which we have already gotten for doesn't exist. There's no such thing as an overall white identity, as Europe is made up of several different groups of people. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, the other thing I also mentioned that goes alongside that fact is also the fact that, just down to common sense here, that Europe, that when it comes to this issue, is just simply the fact of white supremacy. Every single time you say you're proud to be white, it always attracts white supremacists. Every single time it attracts white supremacists, especially when you look at the history of the world. Of course, the connotation with saying that you're proud of being white, you know, it's just hate and just evil. So that's a problem I have with that statement, saying, oh, I'm proud to be white. Okay? Because every single time you say, you know, you're proud to be white, what does that mean? That just sounds like the white supremacists of the past who said, oh, I'm proud to be this, I'm proud to be that, you know, I'm proud to be white and this and that, and for that reason I can oppress people of different races. So how does that make any sense? Now, as I've said, I'm being fair here. You can be proud of the specific, distinct European group you're a part of, but saying you're proud to be white is not acceptable. It's not acceptable at all. Because, especially with the type of people who say they're proud to be white and dedicate their whole lives to saying they're proud to be white, which are the white supremacists. So how does that make any sense? And that's what I'm trying to say here. And that's the problem with this whole, oh, I'm proud to be white theory thing. You know, it doesn't make any freaking sense. You know, it doesn't make any sense. Because all the people in the past who said that stuff were all evil, hateful people. And that's what I'm trying to say here. And that's the truth of the matter. They were all oppressors. They all did evil stuff. And that whole belief system has definitely been trademarked by people who just believe every group of people who's not white, particularly black people, is inferior. That's their mindset, and that's always been our mindset. So the truth of the matter is, the idea of saying you're proud to be white is unacceptable, and it just simply doesn't make any sense. It sounds is a very pseudo-intellectual statement. It might seem like it makes sense on the surface, but taking a deep analysis quickly disproves it quickly. So no, it is not okay to be white. To be proud to be white, for that is what I mean. So saying you're proud to be white is not okay. No, I ain't fall. I think people, the real motherfuckers from other communities, people, we ain't falling for this shit, dog. We ain't falling for this. We know about what that means when you start saying you're proud to be white. And we ain't falling for it. We ain't falling for it. We know what that means. Anyway, this is my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video and like videos like this, remember to thumbs this video up and hit the subscribe button. And this is off to say, and simply put it, later.